Hey guys, this is going to be kind of a YouTube channel where I share with you my love of cooking, and I also share with you my love of science. So ever since I was a little kid, I always was obsessed with food, whether it was eating it or watching people cook it. When I was a little kid, my mom would be cooking in the kitchen, peeling carrots or chopping onions or something, and I'd always take those scraps and cut it up and mix it up with ketchup, and it's kind of gross. And I called it weird sauce, so that was kind of my first introduction to the kitchen. After that, I wanted to watch the Disney Channel. Parents weren't too fond of that, so we switched over to Food Network. I loved it. I grew up with Rachel Ray and Guy Fieri, so I realized, I always cook on the weekends or bake or something, and I always talk to myself while I do it. I think it's kind of a calming thing, but I figured, why don't I share it? I like making impressions of people on those shows and stuff like that, so I thought I would share it all with you today. And today, for this first video, I'm going to be trying to make like homemade veggie burgers from scratch. Yeah, keep watching. Okay, so today we're going to try to make our own veggie burgers. I'm not really sure how this is going to turn out. I have done a little bit of research on recipes. Usually there's a little bit of bean, some sort of, obviously veggies, eggs as some sort of binding agent, and some spices. So I'm just going to try to do this, wing it myself and see how it comes out. So first I got some of my vegetables that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using carrots, mushrooms, onion, and I'm also going to be trying to use some tofu and some sort of bean. But first I'm going to start by cutting up these vegetables. Okay, so let's get started by cutting these vegetables. So first we have this onion. Cut off the ends. I've never been a good onion cutter. Well, if those of you who don't know, I'm a swimmer, so I always have goggles around the house. So I might have to pop those out when I start crying, but we'll see how it goes. So I'm just gonna use half because I don't really think I want it to taste too oniony, but if we need more, we have it. So, as you can see, I just started cutting the onions and I'm already crying. Oh god. Getting so emotional. No. So I'm gonna get a little bowl for this and set this aside. A roughly chopped onion. Okay, so I washed my 2 carrots. Always wash your vegetables. Alright, so I finished chopping the carrots. We got kind of a rough chop. I'm not really focusing too much on how they look because I'm gonna saute them and they're gonna be ground up anyway. But, so now I'm going to move on to the mushrooms. So, these are already sliced, but I just want to slice them a little bit smaller. Just so I can cut down the cooking time by a little less. When I was little, I used to hate mushrooms, but I feel like it's one of those foods that once you grow older, you start to like it. So, now I'm a pretty big fan. So now I'm gonna get my pan hot and ready with some oil, and we're just gonna saute these quick with salt and pepper. So I heated up my pan, and yeah, so I'm gonna add some oil. I don't really know what oil this is. I'm pretty sure it's like and make sure you let it coat your pan. Okay, it's pretty hot. I'm gonna go onions first because I want them to kind of brown and caramelize so I get a nice flavor. All right, got a little sizzle. So that's gonna go first. Then I'm going to do the mushrooms and then the carrots. Because the carrots will, even if they're not fully cooked, they'll still get the flavor that I want them to get. And when I grind them up, it'll all be nice and well combined for the patty. All right, so now my onions have got kind of not totally brown yet, but I don't want it totally brown yet. But yeah, we're going to, now I'm gonna add the mushrooms. I only got a couple mushrooms compared to the onions, but they should cook pretty quickly. I think it's there. It needs a little bit more salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that. A nice bowl of hot veggies. So my veggies are looking a little dry now. At least I can touch them without burning my finger. So I have this little mini food processor that I use for pretty much everything. But it should be more than enough to grind up these vegetables. So I'm just gonna grab a spoon, put the vegetables into here. I'm afraid if I use the spatula, it's just gonna go all over the place. So let's add this to here. Looks like we'll just have just enough room so I won't have to take any out. Okay, so now let's pop the lid on. Tight. Let's grind it up. Let's see. It looks kind of mashed. Like, I don't know if you can see that. Like, but it's not quite where I want it. So we're gonna go for just a couple more runs, and then. Okay, this is definitely not safe. So please don't do this one. Okay. Alright. It looks okay. You know, it's a veggie burger. It shouldn't be, you know, all pasty. But I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the seasonings I'm going to use though. So I'm going to use some garlic powder. You know, pretty much staple. I'm going to use some chili lime seasoning. It's from Trader Joe's. It's pretty good. It has like a little bit of a limey, spicy kind of flavor. So the other night I made tacos. So I'm gonna use some of this leftover taco seasoning, and you're gonna see why when I build the burger. So now we're just gonna start adding stuff to the bowl. So I'm debating whether or not I want to use tofu now, because the more and more I think about it, I don't really like tofu. And second of all, I feel like with these veggies and some beans, it might give us the flavor that we need without having to add extra ingredients. I'm gonna open the can and I'm gonna put it in there and I'm gonna smash it with like a mashed potato type of smasher thing. Okay, I was a little dumb. There was like a tab thingy, so I was able to open it. All right, so I'm gonna strain this. So I'm gonna add the beans. So I'm just gonna smash these up. So we have kind of this type of consistency. And I'm gonna show you what it looks like after I mix it together. So right now, when you're mixing it together, it's not gonna be too well combined. But that's okay because I'm going to be adding some, like an egg later. Just like you would if you were making meatballs, you add like an egg and some breadcrumbs. I'm going to do basically the same thing. So we get the same feel, like that crispy edge of the burger, but still with that soft, pliable inside. So I'm gonna actually season it and then add the egg. First I'll add, so what is this? A teaspoon. I'm gonna add half a teaspoon of garlic powder. So I'd say that's around half, give or take. All right, this one I can't really measure. It's got one of those shaky tops. So this one comes out pretty fast, but I'm gonna put a decent amount. And then with the taco seasoning, I'm gonna use, this is pretty spicy stuff, so I'm gonna use maybe half. And we're gonna just mix that all up together. So I'm just gonna taste it a little bit. Good flavor. Just needs a little bit more taco seasoning. So just a teeny bit more salt, a teeny bit more pepper. I'm gonna show you what it looks like here. All right, so now we got an egg and some panko breadcrumbs. These are seasoned already, which might help just to build the flavors. Yeah, so I'm gonna crack this egg. I'm actually gonna try it one-handed. I've done it once before, but we'll see. Let's go. All right, I can't do it. And I'll add maybe like, I don't know how much to describe, but you wanna not add too much. It shouldn't be grainy, just a little bit. I'd say that's like 1/8 of a cup. And yeah, so I'm gonna just mix it with a spoon. But yeah, so once you finish this up, I would guess you could leave this in the fridge for like up to a couple days. Again, it has raw eggs in it, but this is like a great meal prep idea. So I'm a swimmer, so before I go to practice or before I go to meets, it's better for me to eat something with vegetables than it is to eat with beef, you know, because you don't want a big greasy burger, but I still want something that tastes good and doesn't feel like I'm eating a big salad. So this is a great alternative. You have this in the fridge, have the patties already made, you can freeze them, and then when you're ready, you know, put it in the pan and make yourself one. Or, you know, a great after school snack too. I always like to eat snacks all the time, but I'll show you consistency. We've got, you can see it's pretty solid. So yeah, so now I'm gonna start making the patties. So I'm gonna grab, let's see, like half, maybe a full handful. So you want to grab around this much. And I'm gonna just first, you know, form it into a ball. That's around the ball shape. And I'm just gonna press it flat into a patty, like a 1/4 inch patty. We got this nice, decent kind of shape. Yeah, so I'm gonna make the rest of the patties and then we'll move on to the stove and cook these up. Alright, so now I got the patties, I got the pan. I would try this with the grill, but since this is the first time I'm trying to make these, I don't want to risk it, you know, breaking over the griddle and all that. So I just got a pan. I'm gonna put some oil in it right now. It got pretty hot. Alright, so let's get it started. So just to make sure I don't break these, let it carefully place it into the pan. So I actually got a lid and I'm gonna cover it because I don't want when I flip it to all break apart. So if I put a lid on it, it'll kind of, you know, solidify the top before I flip it over. Alright, so it's about ready to flip, so we're gonna flip it. Fingers crossed. Please set. Okay, so we can see it's a little bit on the charred side, which is totally okay. I mean, it's gonna taste fine. But, so yeah, so I'm gonna just let this sit for the other side, and yeah, we should be able to plate this up. Okay, so I'm back. I finished this patty. It's looking, gotta be careful. It's looking pretty good. Nice, crispy, but it's still pretty warm on the inside, just how we wanted it. So now I'm gonna show you how I like to plate up my burger. This is sesame, and I'm actually gonna toast this. Okay, so while the bun is toasting, I'm gonna get an avocado, a tomato, some spinach. I'm not a big lettuce fan. I like to put spinach on my burgers, but you can add lettuce. And a little bit of this special sauce that I like to use, so I'll show you when we get the ingredients. got our plate. First step, bun. Bam. Next step, I have my spinach here. So yeah, so I put my spinach on the bottom, my 2 slices of tomato over that. Next time, definitely adding more egg or more of some sort of binder to really make sure that it's all nice and well put together. Bam. Got half of an avocado in here. Right, so now we have our burger. I'm gonna add the avocado pieces on top. Again, not a huge fan, so I'm just going light on it. Alright, so this is the sauce. I have 2 kind of versions of the sauce. This, my mom found at the store. It's an Old El Paso salsa verde sauce. It's kind of like a creamy salsa, basically. Or you could add, this is a Mexican-inspired hatch chili sauce. So, or like, if you think of it, it's kind of comparable to like a lime crema, if you know what that is. It's like sour cream and lime. So I'm just gonna drizzle this. This bottle's always a little hard to squeeze over. Drizzle it over the top. And last step, burger bun. Bam! Hey, that looks pretty good. You know, we got all the layers. You can see the spinach, the tomato, the patty, the sauce. There's some avocado in there. So I'm just gonna put a side with it and we're gonna taste. All right, so now it's time to taste. Actually, pretty good. So I definitely got the crunch of the burger and the bun. Goes nice with the sauce. You can taste the tomato, the spinach. Not bad for a first try. Yeah, this definitely was a great first try. I would definitely add more eggs or some sort of binding agent to keep the burger well together, but definitely the taste is there. So now we're gonna move on to the learning about the health portion of why a veggie burger is a better alternative than a beef burger. But thank you guys for watching this portion of the video. So to start off looking at the health benefits of veggies versus meat, let's take a look at, comparatively how they are. So in terms of taste, I was always a big lover of meat and I've eaten it since I was a little kid, but being around people that are vegetarians and have made lifestyle choices, I start to see that an overconsumption of meat is really not good for you. Inflammation is a big issue. There's this really great documentary I watched on Netflix. It's called The Game Changers, and it basically showed a bunch of athletes who are all plant-powered and plant-based, and it showed how before athletic performance, meat can cause inflammation and a buildup of fats in the intestines, and this is really not good for you, and it's not really giving you that protein that will power you. So generally speaking, the average 140-pound person needs around 50 grams of protein per day, while the average 200-pound person needs around 70 grams of protein per day. So that's not really as much as, a lot of people in our society are overeating meat, getting too much protein, and that is not good for your body in the long run. So when we look at vegetables and meat, we can think about this using the protein package, which I saw in a Harvard Health article. So in terms of the protein package, what that means is basically when you're eating a dish with meat and you're eating a dish with vegetables, what other parts are you getting from that dish? Are you getting too much fats? Are you getting extra fiber and more healthy stuff that can actually help your body? Or are you more hurting yourself by doing that? So generally speaking, vegetables tend to have a better protein package than any cooked meats. Vegetables contain more unsaturated fats than saturated fats, which actually helped in many studies to lower LDL cholesterol, which is a big leading reason for heart disease. Additionally, vegetables have this essential fiber that we need for our healthy diet. Fiber is basically plant starch, which your body naturally can't digest, and this helps to help your digestive tract and really push all of the bad toxins and unnecessary fats out of your system. So fiber is really a necessary part of your diet. So in the long run, veggies are definitely a better option for your health. So now that we've seen how veggies help your body, let's take a look at some of the good sources of veggie proteins that you can get to make sure you're still getting your 50 or 70 grams of protein a day, but not, pumping yourself with fats and unhealthy stuff. So we have beans and legumes. I like to use canned refried beans, and I spread them on my quesadillas. They're really good and a quick way to get that protein in. You can also use chickpeas and white kidney beans, and I use them in chilies. You can use them in curries. There's a lot of different ways that you can season beans and make them really delicious and yummy without that extra fats and inflammatory substances. Next, we have nuts. Obviously, you can use these in things like trail mix, nut bars, granola bars. But another great thing is peanut butter, almond butter, sun butter. Whatever works for you, these can be really great options on toast or even for dipping apples in. I know I love to do that. We have wheat, rice, quinoa, oats. These are all great examples of whole grains that you should be getting in your diet, and is a much more nutritious carb to substitute, all of our refined products like pasta that we have in the stores these days. But also, take a look into your breads and make sure that you're getting good things from that. I know I was a big white bread eater, but recently, switching over to, it's called Dave's Killer Breads with 21 grains and seeds, and it's a great alternative to that white bread, and it's actually giving you something nutritious out of that. And finally, we just have vegetables and fruits in general. This can mean broccoli, Brussels sprouts, asparagus, artichokes, corn. These are all great sources of protein, and if you season them correctly, they can be really delicious too. And one final thing I want to mention is that you don't need to make a big lifestyle change where you go from, a big, I call it a meatitarian, to a vegetarian overnight. Anything that you can do to lower your consumption is really going to help you out in the long run. And I'm a bigger meat eater than the next guy, so I understand not being able to do this quickly, but any sort of lifestyle change you can make is going to positively contribute to your health in the long run. So I strongly suggest it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you guys try this recipe at home. It's a great snack before a game or after school snack or anything like that. Comment down below what kind of content you want to see. Recipe suggestions, if there's anything I can improve upon. This is just the first time, so there's definitely more time to make changes and everything like that. Like this video if you really liked it. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions. Subscribe if you feel like you want to. But yeah, I don't want to get all influencer on you. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.